Good afternoon, Venerables, Your Excellency Ambassador, Representative of UNESCO, Deputy Permanent Delegate of Thailand to UNESCO, the President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, honorable guest speakers, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you back to the International Peace Conference 2024 under the theme Continuing Sustainable Society of Peace Through Education. The Royal Patron of All Faith, organized by Royal Thai Embassy, Permanent Delegation of the Kingdom of Thailand to UNESCO, and the World Fellowship of Buddhists, co-organized by the World Fellowship of Buddhist Youth, the World Buddhist University, regional centers, and associated organization of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Peace and Harmony Development Association of Master Chingkung's Friend at UNESCO, held on 28 and 29 of October 2024 at UNESCO headquarters. My name is Sansani Thayari, with great honor to continue to act as host and master of the ceremony for this afternoon program. Together here with me, Master Kantachai Thayari will also have the honor to co-host this afternoon program.
Good afternoon.
This morning, we are honored to hear address message delivered by His Serene Highness Somdet Phra Mahathirajาร, His Eminence Tik Tien Non, Most Venerable Wu Shin, Your Excellency Ambassadors, Representative of UNESCO, the President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, followed by Buddhist merit dedication on the auspicious occasion of His Majesty King Rama X 6th cycle birth anniversary. We have also witnessed the video presentation on His Majesty the King Rama X of Thailand, the Royal Patron of All Faith, with his profound commitment and dedication to foster harmony among diverse faiths and belief, strengthening peace and mutual respect.
For this afternoon, we will hear address messages to be delivered by Your Excellency to UNESCO, followed by speeches from esteemed guest speakers and messages from representatives from regional centers of the World Fellowship of Buddhists from all over the world. We will end the conference with closing remarks. As beginning to this afternoon program, we are deeply honored to now hear from Your Excellency Mrs. Simona Mirela Miculescu, the President of the General Conference of UNESCO, to kindly give address. Please join me in welcoming Her Excellency to kindly deliver her address on the stage, please.
Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is very touching to be in this hall that is blessed with a special spirituality specific to Buddhism, and to stand before you today to reflect on our shared aspiration, building a sustainable society of peace through education. As president of the 42nd session of the General Conference, and as a professor, a mother, a grandmother, and a global citizen, this mission actually resonates deeply with me. Since its founding in 1945, UNESCO has held a simple yet powerful belief: peace cannot be achieved through political or economic agreements alone. It requires a shared foundation based on the dignity of every person, regardless of nationality, faith, or background. Today, as we face unprecedented global challenges from conflict and climate change to digital transformations, UNESCO's vision of peace grounded in cooperation, dialogue, and respect actually has never been more essential. Under my presidency at the 42nd session of the General Conference, member states adopted the UNESCO recommendation on education for peace, human rights, and sustainable development. And this unique global instrument reflects the collective commitment of the 194 members of UNESCO to values-based education, providing crucial guidance in ensuring that education evolves and is adapted to meet the challenges of the 21st century. This instrument is also an expression of the trust we placed in UNESCO's role in leading these efforts. Promoting the implementation of this recommendation is a central priority of my mandate as president, and therefore I'm even more glad to be part of your event today. Distinguished guests, education remains our most powerful tool for fostering a peaceful, just, and sustainable world. In this endeavor, several essential dimensions must shape the way we approach teaching and learning and how we adapt our decision-making in education if we are to instill the foundations of peace. First, education for peace goes beyond mere academics. It is actually about nurturing values such as tolerance, empathy, and respect across generations. This approach transcends borders, shaping global citizens who are as compassionate as they are responsible, equipped with both local and global perspectives. To deepen this foundation, humanity's spiritual and philosophical traditions offer invaluable insights into our shared values. Spiritual traditions encourage compassion, forgiveness, unity, while philosophy promotes critical engagement with ideas of justice, ethics, and wisdom. In integrating these dimensions into education can help young people appreciate diverse beliefs and traditions, fostering respect and unity, a true cornerstone of peaceful societies, right? Culture, too, is indispensable to peace education. The UNESCO framework for culture and art education adopted by the ministers of education and culture in Abu Dhabi earlier this year recognizes this sort of education as fundamental to a quality education that fosters peace, inclusivity, and mutual respect. Moreover, let's not forget the cultural heritage. Through cultural heritage, we connect with our past, understand our present, and we shape our future based on mutual understanding. Our cultural diversity is more than our legacy. It is a shared language of peace that speaks across generations and borders. In today's digital world, on the other hand, developing critical thinking skills is paramount. While social media and digital platforms have transformed communication and information, they also amplified misinformation and hate speech. By instilling media and information literacy in young people, we enable them to navigate information critically, a vital skill for maintaining peace and promoting informed citizenship. The science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or as we call it here, STEM education, alongside the education for sustainable development, also play pivotal roles in building a peaceful and sustainable world. UNESCO's dedication to open, accessible science extends beyond the classroom, equipping communities to address global challenges like climate change, health crisis, environmental degradation. Through science education, young people gain not only knowledge, but also a sense of ethical responsibility, recognizing their role in safeguarding our planet and advancing peace. UNESCO's founding vision is also rooted in the belief that intellectual cooperation can bridge divides and prevent conflicts. Our recent conference celebrating a century of international intellectual cooperation from legacy to future action that commemorated a century since the creation of the International Institute for Intellectual Cooperation, the precursor of UNESCO, underscored that pedagogical programs should encompass two dimensions: presenting historical perspectives, while at the same time encouraging critical reflection. Archives were considered to be key for distinguishing opinion from knowledge and provide balanced interpretations, fostering the mutual understanding among people and cultures. A global education program based on the elements inscribed in the UNESCO Memory of the World Register was suggested in this context, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, our mission for peace through education must reach every child. Tragically, over 250 million children are still out of school, many of whom are girls, facing systemic barriers to education. If we are to achieve quality education for all, we must address inequalities with dedicated resources and policies that ensure safe, inclusive, and well-equipped learning environments. Moreover, our vision for peace must align with inclusive sustainable development goals. Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Chakri Sirindhorn once stated, and I quote, "All countries want development because this implies improvement, and we want development that is long-term and therefore sustainable. But we also want development that pays attention to important social, cultural, political, and environmental considerations," unquote. This vision perfectly echoes UNESCO's commitment to promoting development that benefits all and upholds the values of justice, dignity, and environmental sustainability. The journey to peace cannot be led by any single institution or ideology. It is a shared path. We walk together. It is a dynamic process of understanding, cooperation, and respect. To achieve this, we must revitalize international intellectual cooperation, ensuring that our vision of peace reaches across borders, communities, and generations. Let us instill these values in our youth, the architects of tomorrow's world. Through collective action and shared responsibility, we can build a future that is just, inclusive, and sustainable, a world where harmony is not just an ideal, but a shared reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mrs. Simona Mirella Miculescu, for your kind speech. We are next honored to hear from Your Excellency, Mr. Takahiro Kano, the Ambassador of Japan to UNESCO, to kindly deliver your kind address. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency to deliver his address on the stage, please.
President of the General Conference, Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and Sawadee Krap. I am deeply honored to be here today to participate in this meeting organized by the Royal Thai Embassy, Permanent Delegation of the Kingdom of Thailand to UNESCO, and the World Fellowship of Buddhists. I'd like to congratulate all organizers and co-organizers for the great success of this important event. On a personal note, my connection with Thailand is nearly 30 years old, dating back to mid-1990s, when I was a junior foreign policy officer in charge of Southeast Asia. Since then, I visited Thailand many times, including most recently accompanying then Prime Minister Kishida's official visit to Thailand 2 years ago, as I was a Director General in charge of Southeast Asia. So I'm really pleased to speak on this occasion. The theme of today's conference, Continuing Sustainable Society of Peace Through Education, is very timely as well as old and closely related to core principle of UNESCO. I'd like to talk about it, why this is the case. As colleagues of delegations to UNESCO recall, the Education for Peace was taken up as an agenda at the latest 220th session of UNESCO's Executive Board with a lively discussion. Director General Audrey Azoulay proposed this to be included as a new flagship program. Although we may need further elaboration on this project toward the next session, I could sense that there was a general support to this concept. And this is no surprise. Given the current global situation of increasing regional conflicts and uncertainties around the world, education is expected to play a critical role in harnessing peace. The discussion at the board also reminded us of the fact that UNESCO's fundamental role is to contribute to peace and security. As President of the General Conference just mentioned, the organization was established right after the end of the Second World War in 1945, and its constitution proclaims the importance of constructing the defense of peace in the minds of men and women. This is exactly the reason why I think the theme today is connected to the very core spirit of UNESCO. Thailand has been force for good and stability in Asia during the Cold War and post-Cold War period. Now we are entering a new uncharted water of post-Cold War period. We should count on again the wisdom of Thailand. And in that sense, I would like to congratulate the Kingdom of Thailand and the World Fellowship of Buddhists for organizing this event today and taking up a very timely and pertinent topic. Distinguished participants, with regard to today's theme, continuing a sustainable society for peace through education, let me elaborate more from different perspectives, namely education for sustainable development, or ESD, which Japan has been promoting with UNESCO for more than 20 years. ESD is a concept proposed by Japan at the Johannesburg Summit in 2002. Now, ESD for 2030, based on the resolution of the 40th UNESCO General Conference and the 74th UN General Assembly, is currently being promoted with the aim of achieving the SDGs by 2030. Also, the 1974 Recommendation on Education, which is a core document of UNESCO education sector, was revised for the first time in almost 50 years as at 42nd UNESCO General Conference last year. And as a result of that, ESD was added to the title of new recommendation document. So the new recommendation emphasized the importance of promoting ESD. Thus, the promotion of ESD is a core initiative of UNESCO's education policy, and its philosophy is considered to be well established thanks to the efforts of UNESCO and its member states over the past 20 years. ESD is an initiative to foster the creation of a sustainable society by providing cross-sectoral education in areas such as peace, environmental protection, and poverty prevention. SDG 16 refers to peace, justice, and strong institutions. We could say that ESD is essential to promote education for peace. In Japan, ESD is firmly positioned in the national curriculum guidelines. All children are supposed to learn about the principles of ESD. There are approximately 1,100 UNESCO schools in Japan, which are centers for this implementation of UNESCO's principles. We are convinced that children who have learned the principle of ESD will lead the global society in the future as leaders of a peaceful and sustainable society. As I mentioned earlier, ESD has already been well known as an established concept, and now we are at a stage where each country will take its initiative to promote ESD according to its own national circumstances. In this connection, our delegation of Japan to UNESCO, in collaboration with UNESCO Secretariat, organized recently a side event last week during the session of the Executive Board. 2 partner countries, namely Cabo Verde and St. Kitts and Nevis, were invited to present specific ESD initiatives in their own country on education policies, and that was really informative. In conclusion, I'd like to thank once again the Royal Thai Embassy, Permanent Delegation of the Kingdom of Thailand to UNESCO, and the World Fellowship of Buddhists, and co-organizers for convening this event and inviting me as a speaker. I hope that all of us would benefit from fruitful discussions. Thank you, and Kopun Ka.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Takehiro Kano, for your kind speech. In our fast-paced and oftentimes chaotic world, we can often find ourselves overwhelmed with feelings of perhaps struggle and bewilderment. The 10 virtues of Buddhism help provide a clear framework as guidance toward our actions. We are now honored to hear from Professor Wisha Mahachun, advisor of the World Fellowship of Buddhists and council member of the World Buddhist University. Professor Wisha is the Dean of Faculty of Law at Rangsit University, Professor of Law at Chulalongkorn University. He also served as a former president of the Juvenile and Family Division of the Supreme Court of Thailand, former Commissioner, National Anti-Corruption Commission of Thailand, and president of Anti-Corruption Foundation. Professor Wisha Mahachun will deliver a speech on the topic of how Buddhism can create happiness, King Rama X, the royal patron of all faiths, and the 10 virtues in Buddhism. I would like now to extend our warmest invitations to Professor Wisha Mahachun to the stage and to kindly share his speech, please.
Your Serene Highness, most venerable, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored and delighted to be invited to give a speech by the World Fellowship of Buddhists and the World Buddhist University in collaboration with partner centers and relevant international organizations, is organizing the International Conference for Peace and the documentary and exhibition project, The Royal Patron of All Faiths, to honor His Majesty King Rama X on occasion of His Majesty's auspicious birthday anniversary on 20 July 2024. The topic of my speech today is how Buddhism can create happiness. King Rama X, the royal patron of all faiths, and 10 virtues of Buddhism. In order to complete the content of my speech, I would like to divide the content into 4 parts. Firstly, how Buddhism can create happiness. Secondly, the democratic regime with the king as head of state of the Kingdom of Thailand. Thirdly, His Majesty King Rama X, who is Buddhist and the royal patron of all faiths. Lastly, 10 virtues in the Buddhism. Firstly, how Buddhism can create happiness. Buddhism is happiness development system. His Serene Highness สมเด็จพระพุทธโฆษาจารย์ประยุตโต mentioned about happiness in Buddhism in his book Buddha Dhamma that in Buddhism there are many different names of happiness mentioned both in terms of levels and types up to the highest level of happiness. In terms of practice, he talked about various kinds of happiness and also told us which one, what level, how good it is, how bad it is, and how it is better. This tells us that we must progress or develop into those higher happiness. This is important because in order to develop or progress, we must know the advantages and disadvantages or shortcoming of that thing. In summary, the meaning of happiness is fulfillment of needs, craving, and desires, which is a very big matter, so we have to understand clearly the concept of craving, desire, and need, and developing craving, desire, and need also. Finally, he concluded that there are two kinds of desire. First, craving unwholesome desire. It is a desire for oneself. Second, satisfaction, wholesome desire. It is the desire for goodness, beauty, and perfection of that thing. So, if education can develop people to be happy with their wholesome desire, it can also develop their ethics also. Therefore, developing happiness is developing ethics and vice versa. Developing ethics must be developing happiness. This means that human beings are animals that have the nature to be trained, to learn, to develop, to have education. When they study correctly and in accordance with nature, they will grow and be happy. Education, therefore, is a development of happiness and ethics together in oneself. Secondly, Thailand adopts a democratic regime of government with the king as the head of state. The democratic system of government in Thailand has adhered to the model of the democratic system of government with the king as the head of the state since the change of government in 1932, continuing to the present, as appears in Section 2 of the present Constitution of the Kingdom of Thailand. And in Section 3, it is stated that sovereign power belongs to the people, Thai people. The king, who is the head of state, exercises that power through the parliament, the cabinet, and the courts in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. In addition, in matters related to religion, It is also stipulated in Section 7 that the king is the Buddhist and is the royal patron of all faiths. The word kings, as mentioned above, means the crown and the king who succeed to the throne according to the palace law on the royal succession, 1924. According to the Constitution of the Kingdom of Thailand, Section 20, Paragraph 1, in addition to being the head of the kingdom, His Majesty also holds the following royal powers of the head of the state. First, he exercises legislative power through the parliament. Second, he exercises executive power through the cabinet. Third, he exercises judicial power through the courts. And fourth, he holds the position of Commander-in-Chief of the Thai Armed Forces. Fifth, he selects and appoints the President of the Privy Council and Privy Councillors, or remove them from office at royal attitude. His Majesty also retains the following personal royal powers of the monarch. First, he represents the nation. Second, he advises, encourages, and warns the Prime Minister and the government. And third, the special royal prerogative, according to custom, include discretionary power, which is always needed to protect the community against unexpected dangers. This special power is exercised directly through the cabinet or privy council. The reason why His Majesty has the special power is because of the word nation. It is not just a legal concept and historical ideas based on the connection among the communities that have linguistic roots and traditions tied together as a nation. It maintains the old tradition that the ruler requires the consent of the community, or the same as the Thai word อเนกชนนิกรสโมสรสมมุติ That is a long-time concept of Thailand. This special royal power is not an absolute power as in the past, but it is the case that His Majesty exercises ordinary discretion with caution. After weighing all the factors, he saw that it was justifiable to use such a royal power as in the crisis, especially in the period of King Rama IX in October 1973 and May 1992. In summary, the monarchy has existed alongside the Kingdom of Thailand since Sukhothai, Ayutthaya, Thonburi, and Bangkok period until the present days. The king has inherited the throne continuously without interruption, becoming the crown. Even after the change of government in 1932, the country governance system changed from an absolute monarchy to the democratic regime, which the king is the head of state by maintaining the reference of the king above all else, according to the Constitution of the Kingdom of Thailand, Section 6 stated that the king shall be enthroned in the position of held in the revered worship and shall not be violated. No person shall expose the king to any sort of accusation or action that is under the principle of the king can do no wrong. In harmony with the democratic regime that is His Majesty doesn't have unlimited power as in the past, but is the head of state with royal power and duties. According to the Constitution, law, custom, and traditions, His Majesty share happiness and sorrow with the group of the people. He is ready to help, protect, and develop the country to move toward the goal of peace and prosperity, as stated in the first royal address on the occasion of the coronation ceremony on May 5, 1950, of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great, King Rama IX. The royal address is, I will rule the country with righteousness for the utility and the happiness of the Siamese people. And as the first royal address on the occasion of the coronation ceremony on May 4th, 2019, of His Majesty King Rama X, His Majesty addressed that I will continue preserve, develop, and reign with righteousness for the utility and happiness for the people forever. Thirdly, I will talk with His Majesty King Rama X, is Buddhist and royal patron of all faiths. According to Section 7 of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Thailand, it is specified that the king is the Buddhist and upholder of religions. On May 4, 2019, in coronation ceremony of His Majesty King Rama X, His Majesty declared himself as patron of Buddhism in the royal address to the Assembly of the Monks and royal family members and government officials, stating that originally I had faced reference and took refuge in the Triple Gem by that way already. Therefore, now that I have been crowned, I surrender to the Buddha and Dhamma and Sangha with the management of protection and maintenance of Buddhism righteously and forever. May the blessed monks please remember me well as the patron of Buddhism. From the history of the Thai nation, there is important evidence showing that the Thai king was Buddhist and was royal patron of all faiths. That is an event during the reign of King Narai the Great, 1632 to 1688, in Ayutthaya period. His Majesty gave a speech to Jalpa Vichayen, the Prime Minister that time, regarding King Louis XIV of France request that he convert to Christianity There is a passage that says, "You should go to tell the ambassador on my behalf that I am very grateful to the King of France for the friendship with me, but that my dear friend, the King of France, has come to advise me on such a difficult matter, and it is a matter of which I have no knowledge at all, which causes me great sorrow. But let the wise King of the France consider how important and difficult it would be to change the religion which has been practiced to 2,000 or more 2,000 years. Moreover, I am very surprised that my dear friend, the King of France, has become engaged in the affair of God. For I see that God himself has no interest in this matter, because human beings have the same body, soul, and matter. Is God who made it so? If God didn't want it to be so, why did he allow different religions to exist all over the world? God wants us humans to worship and respect him in various ways and belief. However, we already know that everything will be as God commands it to be. Therefore, we surrender our lives and our lands to God's protection. Whatever happens in the future, good or bad, is up to the kindness of the pressure of God. Thus, the fact that King Narai the Great, the king of Ayutthaya period, gave a both royal speech is one piece of evidence showing Buddhist nature of Thai monarchy. Since ancient time, for thousands of years, however, he still insisted on the principle that a person can have the freedom to practice or perform rituals according to the principle of own religion. His Majesty, as the royal patron of all faiths, this means he has supported all religions as he has done in the past up until the present. This can be seen from the fact that His Majesty King Rama X has supported all religions under his royal patronage equally and fairly. He believed that all religions teach everyone to be good people. Therefore, we must work together to create that goodness. So goodness create good society. Lastly, I will talk about 10 virtues in Buddhism. Parami, according to the Buddhist dictionary compiled by Somdet Phra Putthakosajan Payutto, is described as the great merit that has been practiced to the utmost in order to achieve a high goal. Papotisattva, in order to attain enlightenment and become a Buddha, must cultivate completely parami. There are 10 of them. First, donation, sacrifice to help all human beings and animals. Second, precept, correct and honest behavior. Third, ascetic system, detachment from sensual, desire, ordinary, or ordination. Fourth, with having knowledge, reaching truth, knowing how to solve the problem, carrying out various successful activities. Fifth, perseverance, brave endeavor, persistence, never abandoning duties and responsibility. Six, patience, control oneself to be the Dhamma and reason, never be influenced by lust. Seven, truth, honesty, sincerity, seriousness. Eight, prayer, firm intention, good purpose that is clear, purposeful, and resolute. 9, kindness, love, good wishes, thinking of helping and hoping for all living beings to live happily. And the last, equanimity, neutrality, having faith is Dhamma, be calm, steady, not being biased, being unmoved by joy or sorrow, like or hate, or any testation. The 10 virtues or the 10 perfections will be complete when the Bodhisattva has practiced each perfection to the 3 stages or 3 levels. Therefore, the perfections are divided into 3 levels. First, the first highest level, greatest virtue. Second, the almost highest level, greatest virtue. And the last, the highest level, greatest virtue. Inheriting, preserving, developing, and ruling the country with righteousness of His Majesty King Rama X in accordance with the 10 virtues. His Majesty King Rama X has a firm determination and maintain the stability of the country so that the people will have better life by developing the happiness of the people according to the principle of Buddhism. To provide proper education that is the accordance with nature, which develops happiness and ethics with every citizen. This is because His Majesty intends to continue preserve and develop the royal project and royal initiatives of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great, King Rama IX, to alleviate suffering and promote sustainable happiness for the people and develop the country to prosperity. His Majesty has been diligent and has sacrificed his body traveling to every region by himself since the time he held the title of the Crown Prince or สมเด็จพระบรมโอรสาธิราช accompanying His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great and Her Majesty the Queen Mother at that time to visit the people and survey the condition to remote areas with the intention of planning the development of the area of alleviate the suffering of the people. For example, on July 18, 2002, His Majesty granted 1,350 rights of his personnel and to Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative, along with granting royal initiative to consider determining guidelines for land use for conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. In addition, His Majesty is aware of and concerned about the well-being of the people, especially the suffering caused by natural disasters, such as drought, storms, flood, etc. Moreover, the Society has royal projects initiated by His Majesty King Rama X, many more that are infinite utility to the people in all areas of the country, such as Royal Volunteer Project under the Royal Initiative, the Kok Nong Na Model Project, which is adapted from the new theory of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej, the great King Rama IX, applied to the model to promote learning processes, participation, and self-reliance to be able to manage oneself and the community for sustainable happiness, which is consistent with the Royal Volunteer Project under the Royal Initiative and the Royal Project Arayakaset or agronomy to continue preserve and develop according to the Royal Initiative of Sufficient Economy, with Kok Nong Na of kindness and hope. The word Arayakaset is a royal word from His Majesty King Rama X. It means a good area of the country by organizing schools under the Office of the Basic Education Commission. More than 30,000 schools to lead in more than 100 schools to create a civilized agriculture country, agronomy country. This is continuous, preserve and develop in line with the Royal Initiative of Sufficient Economy, emphasizing that educational institutes organize teaching and learning, creating a model of new agriculture theory in a small area. It can be implemented in all conditions of a small area, adjusting the basic thinking, practicing discipline, and solving real problems in the local area, to learning in education and institutions, making it a stable and sustainable source of support for the community. The above examples of royal initiatives show that His Majesty invented, granted, and developed guidelines for participation of the people in all areas of Kingdom of Thailand, so that the people will be the good citizen according to the 10 virtues, which are the extremely practice of the good deeds. To achieve the highest goal, both in giving and sacrificing to help fellow human beings by honest behavior, with a pure mind, with knowledge, reaching the truth, preserving, striving to do things bravely, with perseverance, seriousness, sincerity, and determination, in a clear and good goal, with love and goodwill for all citizens, to live happily, without being biased towards anyone. The royal grace that His Majesty has for the people has resulted in great result. That is, it can solve the problem and create quality of life for citizens in every community in accordance with His Majesty first royal commands that I will continue, preserve, develop, and rule the country with righteousness for the utility and happiness of the people forever. Now, all of us pray for Lord Buddha, blessing His Majesty King Rama X. Long live the King. All of the attendance and participation. Everybody, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wishamahakun, for your kind speech. In an era of rapid development and technological advancement, maintaining stability and ensuring the well-being of the people is a challenge faced by all nations. His Majesty King Rama X's royal resolution stands as a beacon of wisdom, emphasizing stability, happiness, and sustainability through correct actions and enduring principles. It is our great honor to now hear from Most Venerable Pra Prom Sakaya Wongwisut, or Dr. Anirman Sakaya, Senior Advisor to the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Deputy Abbot of Wat Bawaniwet Wihan, Bangkok, Thailand. Most Venerable graduated from Cambridge University and earned a PhD from Brunel University in the UK. He is visiting professor at Mahidol University in Thailand and Santa Clara University in the United States of America. Most Venerable will deliver an address on stability of the nation, happiness of the people, correcting the wrong, and continuation of the Royal Resolution under the Sustainable Agronomy Principle. I would now like to invite Most Venerable Pra Prom Sakaya Wongwisut, Senior Advisor of the WFB, to kindly have his speech on the stage.
Your Excellencies, venerable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in this very important stage called UNESCO. The stage where we raise our voices for the sake of peace and prosperity of our only planet, what we call this human planet. While we are continuing the idea of continuing sustainable society of peace through education, this is our small effort from a world of Buddhism. But at the same time, very sadly, some part of the world is bombing each other. Some part of the world is shattering the whole idea of a peace, which everyone there for that. This is a small effort. We are trying to raise that very word peace so that people can live more insecure, without fear, and the sense of little bit of happiness as we are as a human. So this is something very worth. We are trying to raise our voices. I just hope that in the war zone, I just hope that where the trouble is, I just hope that where the peace has been shattered, this small voice from this hall reach there and at least have some impact and give some sense of peace and happiness among those who are in bad shape and bad condition. It is a great honor to stand before you today to speak on a subject deeply tied with well-being of our planet. We gather here on this global stage for the International Peace Conference 2024 to reflect upon the vision of His Majesty King Rama X, encapsulated in his royal resolution, which continues to guide Thailand towards prosperity, harmony, and global sustainability. This commitment serves as a foundation for world peace and is a meaningful contribution the Thai monarchy has made to the world. From September 26 to 28, 2017, the International Peace Conference 2017 was held in this very hall, organized by the World Fellowship of Buddhists, or WFBs, the Permanent Delegation of Thailand to the UNESCO, the Pure Land Learning College Association, and the World Buddhist University. At the time, the conference theme was Creating a Sustainable Society of Peace, a legacy of King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand. Honored the late King Rama IX, who passed away on October 13, 2016. This year, the same organizers have set a new theme for International Peace Conference 2024 under the theme Continuing Sustainable Society of Peace, expanding upon the King Rama IX's legacy and the ongoing work of King Rama X. On July 28, 2024, Thailand celebrated the 72nd birthday of His Majesty King Rama X. In Thai culture, the 72nd birthday is regarded as a significant diamond jubilee, marking the 6th cycle of his life. Throughout the year, numerous activities across Thailand organized by the palace, government, monastic institutions, and the people demonstrate loyalty and respect in honor of His Majesty's birthday. Today, we reconvene at UNESCO, 7 years after the last celebration, to once again celebrate His Majesty's auspicious birthday alongside this International Peace Conference jointly organized by UNESCO, the World Fellowship of Buddhists, the Permanent Delegation of Thailand to UNESCO, and the Peace and Harmony Development Association of Master Chin Kung's friends at UNESCO here in Paris. In this era of constant change, the need for balance, happiness, and rectifying past injustice has never been more vital. His Majesty King Rama X has provided us with a roadmap to ensure Thailand's future remains secure and anchored in value that benefit all people. His Majesty's Royal Resolution emphasizes 4 critical pillars: national stability, people's happiness, correcting injustice, and the continuation of royal initiatives, particularly through the principle of sustainable agronomy, a very new term. These are not merely words, but foundational principles for a thriving and united Thailand, serving as a model for the global community in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. This reflects a globalization of the SDGs, adapting them to align with Thai culture and beliefs, a crucial factor in success of the 17th SDGs, which must be integrated into local cultural and context to thrive. In ancient Thailand, there is a proverb. It says that, "Nai nam mi pla, nai nam mi khao," which means that in water there are fish, in fields there is rice, conveying the ideals of abundance and sustainability. As long as there are fish in the water and rice in the field, life can be comfortable. Thai people believe in balancing nature and human needs, reflecting a core principle of equilibrium in all forms of development. Balanced development refers to an approach where all aspects of human life receive equal consideration and prioritization. This encompasses fields such as economics, social welfare, environmental sustainability, education, healthcare, and cultural preservation, aiming to develop each area in a way that promotes harmony and balance. Recognizing that economic growth alone cannot measure progress if it comes at the expense of other vital aspects of human well-being. Balanced development seeks to integrate economic prosperity with social equity, environmental protections, and cultural preservation. It emphasizes the need for holistic planning and cooperation across sectors to achieve sustainable and inclusive growth. Balanced development is essential to achieving sustainable development goals, as it ensures that the interests of all stakeholders are taken into account with careful attention to the long-term effects of development projects. Balanced development has long been the backbone of Thai economy and society, providing a crucial framework for the country's progress. His Majesty King Rama X has continued the sufficiency economy initiatives introduced by his late father, King Bhumibol Adulyadej, who was internationally recognized for his contributions to sustainable development and happiness of the people. King Rama X's royal resolutions builds upon these principles, focusing on stability, happiness, justice, and continuity, especially in sustainable agronomy. This commitment aligned with UNESCO's sustainable development agendas, highlighting the importance of combining traditional knowledge system with contemporary practice for comprehensive development. What I am trying to put in this keynote is that trying to overview the King Rama X's royal resolutions, emphasizing its focus on national stability, the happiness of the people, correcting environmental issues, and the continuity of these efforts through sustainable agronomy. Central to this vision in Buddhist values, we support both individual and collective well-being and offer a philosophical framework that harmonizes human life with nature. The integration of these ideals with modern sustainability practices creates a comprehensive model that resonates with UNESCO's global sustainability goals, particularly in the realms of education, culture, and sustainable development. It was in 2006, United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan awarded King Bhumibol Adulyadej the United Nations first Human Development Lifetime Achievement Awards, recognizing the monarch's 60 years long efforts to support the poorest and most vulnerable in his kingdom as an example to the world. Mr. Anand said of King Bhumibol, quote, "Your Majesty has made an extraordinary contribution to human development. As the world's development king, Your Majesty has reached out to Thailand's poorest and most vulnerable people, regardless of their status, ethnicity, or religion. Listen to their problems and empower them to take control of their lives," unquote. He again continued, quote, "As a visionary thinker, Your Majesty has played an invaluable role in shaping the global development dialogue," unquote. He further emphasized Your Majesty's sufficiency economy philosophy emphasizing moderation, responsible consumption, and resilience to external shocks, is of a great relevance worldwide in this time of rapid globalization. It reinforces the United Nations' effort to promote people-centered, sustainable development path. With this award, we hope to bring wider attention to Your Majesty's visionary approach beyond Thailand's borders, unquote. King Bhumibol Adulyadej, known as the Development King, provided both theoretical and practical frameworks related to community development science in Thailand. His royal initiatives on the sufficiency economy has been recognized as a universal community development theory, grounded in principle of coexistence, interdependency, simplicity, integration, inspiration, and political neutrality, all focused on achieving true happiness for the Thai people. Key elements of the sufficiency economy development theory are self-reliance, moderation, resilience, inner strength, perseverance, and knowledge. This approach applies at all levels, from individuals and family to communities and nations, extending to global management. The United Nations has endorsed this philosophy for countries facing decommunitization challenges. In total, there are 5,176 royal development projects across Thailand, initiated by King Rama IX from 1952 to 2023. These projects are divided into 8 sustainable development fields. Water resource development, something around 3,650 projects. Agriculture development of 133 projects. Environmental development, 199 projects. Livelihood improvement, 344 projects. Public health development, 47 projects. Transportation and communication, 90 projects. Social welfare and education, 483 projects. And holistic development, going to the 275 projects. All those over 5,000 projects was initiated by the late King of Thailand for the benefit and happiness, and especially to create the peaceful society, which became a model for all other countries as well. His Majesty King Mahawachiralongkorn Pravachiraklao Chao Yuhua, the King Rama X, ascended to the throne on December 1, 2016, at the invitation of the Thai Cabinet and the National Legislative Assembly, stating that, as per the Cabinet and National Legislative Assembly's invitation on behalf of all Thais for me to become Thailand's new constitutional monarch under the Palace Laws on Succession of 1924, I accept the invitation to become the king and fulfill the royal intentions of His Majesty late King Bhumibol Adulyadej for the benefit and happiness of all Thais, unquote. Later on May 4, 2019, King Rama X's coronation occurred at the age of 64, following the death of his father, King Bhumibol Adulyadej, on October 13, 2016. After the crowning and investiture ceremony, the king presented his first royal command, stating, quote, "I shall continue, sustain, and develop the royal legacy and shall reign with righteousness for the benefit and happiness of people forever." You can see the spirituality, you can see the dedications. It's always echoing the whole idea of benefit of happiness and peace of people forever. The first royal command reflects the royal resolution and aligned with the global agenda of the United Nations by proclaiming to the public his commitment to governing the country with sustainable development. In other words, he intends to continue balanced development for benefits and happiness of all. As King Rama X articulated, In his own word, the Royal Resolution serves as a comprehensive framework for national development, emphasizing the importance of stability, happiness, and justice as essential elements of a prosperous and harmonious society, key principle of the Royal Resolution, which includes stability. Ensuring political, economic, and social stability through good governance, equitable resources distribution, and effective conflict resolution. Second, happiness. Promoting the well-being of the people through education, healthcare, and social welfare programs. Correcting the wrong. Addressing social and economic inequalities and injustice to create a more equitable society. Continuation. Ensuring the Royal Resolution's continuity through reflective leadership and institutional mechanism. King Rama X has expanded upon the Royal Resolution, emphasizing sustainability and environmental protection, particularly focusing on the role of agronomy, which is management of land and resources in achieving national development goals. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, sustainable agronomy is a holistic approach to national development that seeks to balance land productivity, environment sustainability, and social equity. It emphasizes preserving natural resources, promoting biodiversity, and improving community livelihood. The principle of Royal Resolution on Sustainable Agronomy highlights the interconnectedness of people, the environment, and economy. Key areas of Royal Resolution of Sustainable Agronomy include environmental protection, which is indeed in this age, in need in this age. Prioritizing the protection of natural resources such as water, soil, and biodiversity. Social equity, emphasizing the importance of promoting social justice and improving community livelihoods. Economic sustainability, ensuring that economic development is sustainable and does not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their needs. King Rama X's sustainable agronomy encompasses 5 levels of actions. Sustainable people, Arya Jana. Sustainable planet, Arya Bhumi. Sustainable partnership, Arya Kitcha. Sustainable prosperity, Arya Vardhana. And sustainable peace and happiness, Arya Sukha. These labels parallel the UN's 5 Ps of Sustainable Development Goals, but King Rama X emphasized cumulative development initiated by each individual. Once an individual recognizes the importance of sustainable agronomy, they are considered a sustainable individual, Arya Jana. Their action contribute to developing their surroundings for sustainability, Arya Bhumi. A sustainable planet, Arya Bhumi, encourages more individuals to collaborate for sustainable partnership, that is Arya Kitcha, which ultimately leads to sustainable prosperity, Arya Vardhana, and sustainable peace and happiness, Arya Sukha. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, King Rama X employs the term sustain from its etymological meaning, derived from sus, sus, which is a prefix, plus the tenere, which is in Latin. Here, tenere means uphold, sharing the same derivation in Pali and Sanskrit. In this context, dra, the same etymology as tenere, also means uphold, forming the basis for the universal term dharma. Thus, sustain can be interpreted as dharmic or upholding. In other words, it signifies balanced development, the essence of SDGs in practice. Etymologically, sustainable development means dharmic development or balanced development. King Rama X approaches international peace through his Royal Resolution of Sustainable Agronomy. Peace does not merely mean the absence of war and conflict. It requires balanced cognitions as a foundation. If each individual can cultivate their mind in dharma, that is, sustainability or in balance, their action will lead to a dharmic people, dharmic planet, dharmic partnership, dharmic prosperity, and dharmic peace. The terms Arya and Dharma are used synonymously. Sadly, today, we are living in fear and conflict. An undharmic world where people prioritize their existence over others. The world is driven by egocentric views, a direct consequence of capitalism. King Rama X, therefore, following Buddhist teachings on no-self, encourages us to shift our perspective from me to we, moving from egocentric to ecocentric, thinking through his royal resolution of sustainable agronomy. His Majesty King Rama X's royal resolution offers more than just a national strategy. It presents a model for global sustainability that integrates Buddhist ecological ethics with modern agricultural science. Buddhism teaches that all life is interconnected, and the idea is central to the king's vision of sustainable agronomy. His focus on biodiversity, environmental conservation, and the climate resilience echoes the global call for sustainability, as articulated in UNESCO's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. At UNESCO, where the preservation of cultural heritage, environmental sustainability, and the promotion of peace are key objectives, King Rama X's approach provides a framework that can be adopted by other nations. His integration of Buddhist principle with economic practice demonstrates that sustainable development is not merely a technical challenge, but also a moral and philosophical one. By promoting values such as compassion, mindfulness, and balance, the Royal Resolution offers a path toward a more harmonious relationship between humanity and nature, an approach that resonates deeply with global need for sustainable, resilient societies. His Majesty King Rama X emphasizes national stability as a prerequisite for sustainable development. Agriculture, a key pillar of the Thai economy, plays a crucial role in fostering stability. Under King Rama X's royal resolution, sustainable agronomy is not only viewed as an economic strategy, but as a pathway to long-term social and environmental resilience. Buddhist principles, particularly the middle path, guide the king's approach to stability. This doctrine advocates balance and moderation, mirroring the sufficiency economy philosophy first introduced by King Rama IX. Just as the middle path encourages the moderation to avoid extreme of indulgence and deprivation, King Rama X's vision for agronomy promotes balanced land use, avoiding the overexploitation of natural resources while ensuring that agricultural practices remain productive and sustainable. The principle of dharma, or natural law, also informs the king's approach to agronomy, recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. The Royal Resolution promotes practices that respect the environment and sustain biodiversity. By advocating for organic farming, reducing reliance on chemical pesticides, and encouraging indigenous knowledge systems, King Rama X ensures that agricultural stability is achieved harmoniously with nature rather than at its expense. His advocacy for stability in agriculture equips rural communities, often the most vulnerable to economic shocks, to better manage fluctuation in global markets, climate change, and other external pressures. Buddhism teaches that true happiness, sukha, is derived not solely from material wealth, but from mental and spiritual well-being. His Majesty King Rama X's royal resolution reflects this principle by advocating for a holistic approach to happiness, where the well-being of the people is intertwined with environmental and social health. The notion of happiness in the Oriental context differs from the Western approach. While happiness in English is rooted in the luck and fortune, the word hap in Latin, the word sukha in Pali and Sanskrit relates to endurance, acceptance, satisfactions, and ease. The feeling of ease is a primary source of happiness. One Buddhist concept that resonates deeply with the king's vision is the idea of the Sangha, or community. In Thai society, farming communities play a vital role in maintaining social cohesion. King Rama X emphasizes empowering these communities through sustainable agronomy practices that promote food sovereignty and self-sufficiency. The establishment of a local cooperative farming models and the promotion of smallholder farming initiatives align with Buddhist values of mutual support and collective prosperity. By fostering a more sustainable agricultural economy, the king seeks to alleviate poverty, reduce rural-urban migration, and improve overall quality of life. Furthermore, education and capacity building program within the agriculture sector ensures knowledge of sustainable practices is passed on to the future generation, contributing to long-term national development. Moreover, King Rama X's agronomy policies encourage the practice of loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, towards all beings by promoting the ethical treatment of the environment and ensuring equitable access to resources for all citizens. The king fosters a society where happiness is measured not by individual gain, but by collective well-being of the nation. This holistic view of happiness, grounded in Buddhist ethics and sustainable agronomy, encourages Thai farmers to cultivate not only crops, but also community, compassion, and contentment. Buddhism teaches that health is the greatest gift. Accordingly, King Rama X is dedicated to the well-being and happiness of his subjects and the people of the world. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the government and the people were in chaos. While all the government and people was indecisive how to take care of this pandemic, His Majesty King dedicated hundreds of millions of dollars, working with the scientists, working with all the experts, came out with all these new inventions of these mobile sectors to screen out the virus, to treat the virus, and give medical support to all the hospitals, not only in Thailand, but also in abroad. As far as I remember, there was one load of one big plane from His Majesty King sent over to India to help to cope with the COVID. Similarly, His Majesty King also sent full load of one big plane with all the medical equipments and whatever it is needed to tackle with the COVID situations to the kingdom to the Nepal at the time. So his way of trying to solve the problem, trying to think as the health is a very important thing for human being to survive, and he has done that immensely with his very particular knowledge of what he can do within the help of all the expertise. Similarly, on the third issue, correcting the wrong, is a fundamental concept in the Royal Resolution, emphasizing the need for justice, equity, and moral rectitude in all facets of national development, including sustainable agronomy. His Majesty King Rama X is committed to rectifying social injustice and addressing the inequalities that hinder sustainable development. By promoting sustainable agronomy practice, the king aims to empower marginalized societies, communities, especially smallholder farmers, ensuring that their rights are upheld and their voices are heard in the development process. One of my contribution, which I have been doing in Thailand, is that I used to go to the prison to teach or to correct all those inmates. And I guess that it is only in Thailand that His Majesty King has that dedication or kind of that has a legally that have power to give amnesty to those one who create the crimes to our society. Of course, it was unfortunate that people create crimes out of their desire, out of their anger, out of all those things. But are we ready to forgive them? Are we ready to give the second chance for them? In Thailand, how heavy sentence you are sentenced, even to the death penalty, even to the life sentence, but there is a one door always open, that is a compassion of His Majesty King, where His Majesty King annually give a royal pardon or amnesty to those prisons, all those inmates, giving them a second chance to improve and become a human resource to develop the country, to sustain the society of peace. Similarly, in continuation of sustaining the royal vision that his father has already started with over 5,000 projects in order to help to materialize the SDGs. His Majesty King Rama X carry on those jobs, those projects, and on top of that, even expanded those projects to a more valuable to the more wider society. Therefore, all those what His Majesty King Rama X has dedicated his all effort, resources for the happiness and continuing the sustainable society of peace. In conclusion, I would like to say that the Royal Resolution of King Rama X represents a comprehensive approach to national development that seamlessly integrates sustainability, happiness, and social justice. Through sustainable agronomy, the King envisioned a society where stability, happiness, and righteousness flourish, enable all Thais to thrive. Rooted in Buddhist teachings, the Royal Resolution serves as foundational framework for cultivating a resilient, equitable, and prosperous future. By recognizing the intricate interconnections among people, the environment, and economy, King Rama X articulates a vision of sustainable development that honors traditional values while addressing contemporary challenges. As Thailand navigates the complexities of modern world, King Rama X's unwavering commitment to sustainable agronomy and well-being of his people stands a beacon of hope and inspiration. It reminds us all of the critical need to balance progress with compassion and responsibility. Through the lens of sustainable agronomy, the King's initiatives exemplify both national and international dedication to sustainability, aligning with global efforts spearheaded by organizations such as UNESCO and the United Nations. In a world grappling with the urgent issues of climate change and food security, Thailand's approach under King Rama X provides a viable pathways for sustainable development that harmonize cultural heritage with modern science and environmental stewardship. The King's endeavor tackle local and global challenges, drawing upon the ethical tenets of Buddhism by integrating principles such as compassion, mindfulness, non-harming, and interconnectedness into sustainable agronomy practices. He not only ensures the long-term resilience of Thailand's agricultural system, but also enriches the global discourse on ethical leadership and sustainability. In the face of escalating environmental crisis, King Rama X's Royal Resolution exemplifies the powerful synergy between ancient wisdom and contemporary scientific approaches. By continuing the legacy of his father, King Rama IX, while adapting it to the needs of the 21st century, King Rama X affirms that sustainability transcends policy. It is a profound moral imperative that calls for justice, compassion, and mindful stewardship of the Earth's resources. This vision closely aligned with UNESCO's mission, positioning Thailand as a valuable model for other nations pursuing sustainable development in agronomy and beyond. By honoring his father's legacy, while introducing his unique vision, King Rama X provides an enduring model of leadership that prioritizes the well-being of both people and the planet. His sustainable agronomy initiatives illuminate a path for other nations, inspiring to achieve long-term agricultural resilience, economic stability, and environmental sustainability. A balanced dharmic approach to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Long live the King. May peace prevail in this world. Thank you.
Thank you, Most Venerable Prat Prom Sakaya Wongwisut, for your kind speech. Next, we are truly privileged today to hear from our distinguished guests from the regional centers of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, each bringing a unique perspective from their respective regions. Let us begin with Most Venerable Thich Win Lay, advisor to the World Fellowship of Buddhists, president of the International Buddhist Cultural Heritage Organization of the USA. We extend our warmest invitation to you to kindly share your remarks.
Good afternoon. Ma Sangha, Mr. Farlop Thai, the President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a profound honor to join this auspicious celebration of the 6th sacred birth anniversary of His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn, King Rama X. Since the beginning, His Majesty's reign is the embodiment of the principle of Buddhist wisdom. His Majesty's solemn pronouncement in surrendering the throne to reign with sagaciousness for the benefits and happiness of the people, followed by his unwavering leadership and dedication to peace and well-being of Thai people, reflects the Buddha's teachings on virtuous leadership and a noble middle path to balance strength with heart and reason with compassion. His actions are always harmonious with his edicts, from the continuation of royal development projects to supporting sustainable agriculture and alleviating poverty. King Ramadan builds on his late father, King Bhumibol Adulyadej's legacy by advancing the sufficiency economic philosophy, which underlies moderation and ethical governance, ensuring sustainable projects while reserving Thailand's resources and environment for future generations. To address the country's modernizing challenges, His Majesty works tirelessly to imbue the Buddhist value of compassion and generosity through thoughtful socio-economic progress and humanitarian initiatives. The Buddha taught that the one who practices to benefit both themselves and others is the foremost, best, chief, highest, and finest. His Majesty exemplifies this teaching through his commitment to the welfare and happiness of the Thai people. The Avatam Saka Sutta teaches that all phenomena are interconnected and mutually penetrating. This concept of interdependence, also known as interpenetration, demonstrates that harmony and mutual cooperation are crucial for success, especially in leadership. His Majesty King Ramadan strives to achieve this harmony in all his deeds, promoting unity within Thailand and extending that peace to the global community. As we reflect on His Majesty's excellent leadership, let us also be guided by the eternal teaching of the Buddha. Hatred is never overcome by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred overcome. With His Majesty's wisdom and compassion as a model, we are reminded of our shared responsibility to create a world of peace, understanding, and mutual respect. With deep gratitude, may I extend my sincere thanks to UNESCO, the Thai Embassy in France, and Mr. Phallop Thayare, the President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, for their dedication for making this conference a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Most Venerable Thich Win Lay, for your kind speech. May I now invite His Excellency Dr. Jambajaf Khamba Lama, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists from Mongolia, to kindly give his speech on the stage.
Just a minute.
Dear distinguished guests and friends in Dharma, on behalf of Mongolian Buddhists and on my own behalf, I have great honor to represent the Mongolian Buddhists for this auspicious and meaningful occasion of International Peace Conference 2024 to commemorate His Majesty King Ram X's 6th sacred birthday anniversary and express my deepest appreciation all people who are working great effort to make this event possible. Please accept warm and friendly greetings from Mongolian Buddhists. Conference aims and promotes global peace based on Buddhist principles. The goal of Buddhism is to develop a vision of the peace and harmony for all beings. I feel that this is vitally important, and it is a mission I hold very dear to my heart. Therefore, I am not only happy to attend the International Peace Conference 2024, but also I would like to see Buddhist leaders. Peace and harmony means achieving equality and eliminating self-attachment and pride service as the principle and the spirit of the post-accept of the theme and embodies respect for mutual understanding and tolerance for other people. It aims to establish an equal, open, and diversified exchange to cooperation for the people of inside who love the world, care for life, uphold Buddhism, and cherish loving kindness and compassion. Buddhist teachings on peace, compassion, liberation, and profit for others is always the very lodestar of all Buddhists and cultivation for enlightenment and freedom of mind. Today, human beings have created serious problems, not only themselves, but also have made trouble for all living beings. Therefore, Buddhist leaders are altogether need to play an important role for developing and strengthening human value based on the principle of mutual respect and harmony, compassion, forgiveness, and equality. This is the Buddhist approach to solve the world complications. I completely believe that Buddhist leaders can act an example for our society. It is our character and our commitments, patience, and the mutual respect for differences, traditions, opinion, and contribute to the development of peace and improvement of mankind. Finally, all Buddhist leaders could respect each other's way of practicing which will lead cooperation, conducting good deeds to all mankind, and also preserve peace at large. People truly believe in the ideal, harmonious, and peaceful coexistence of human beings. May all beings be happy and peaceful forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Dambajav, for your kind speech. May I now invite Most Venerable Thich Bok Dan, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, the President of the United Vietnamese Buddhist Congregation in Australia and New Zealand, to kindly give speech on the stage.
Venerable Sangha, distinguished guests, Buddhist fellow ladies and gentlemen. Today and yesterday we have heard a lot, and I myself also learned a lot. I think my word is nothing new, but I deliver you the friendship from Australia. We gather today to reflect on a fundamental human aspiration, peace. As a citizen of Australia, a monk, and the Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, and a global citizen, I stand before you with a heart commitment to the principles of compassion, loving kindness, and unity. In our pursuit of peace, let us embrace the core Buddhist principle of loving kindness. Metta kaya karma, acting with a compassionate heart, assisting others with gentleness and goodwill. Metta vati karma, speaking with kindness, imparting beneficial truth. Metta mano karma, cultivating pure intention, fostering positive thoughts. The principle you probably have heard already, the words of Somdep, should guide our action, words, and thoughts by embodying loving kindness in our daily life. We foster understanding and empathy. Peace is intertwined with the aspiration to attain enlightenment for the benefits of all sentient beings. This path emphasizes compassion and wisdom, making peace not just in the absence of conflicts, but in the presence of understanding. Leadership plays a pivotal role in fostering peace. His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn's commitment to the sufficiency economy philosophy provides hope for sustainable development. Australia's multicultural nation demonstrates how different cultures and beliefs can coexist harmoniously, setting an example for the world. The strong bonds of friendship and cooperation between our neighboring nations further illustrate the potential for collective efforts toward peace. As we celebrate the 6th cycle birth anniversary of His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn Pra Vachirak Lao Chao Yu Hua, let us renew our commitment to peace, drawing inspiration from His Majesty's vision and the teaching of the Buddha. May our efforts today and every day guide the world toward lasting happiness and peace. Let us work together to build a future where every individual can thrive in well-being and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you, Most Venerable Thich Bok Tan, for your kind speech. May I now invite Most Venerable Dai Shi, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, President of the Buddhist Association of Canada, Cham Shan Temple, to kindly give his speech on stage.
Honorable ambassadors to UNESCO,
WFB executives, most valuable masters, Sangha members, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is an honor to represent Canada and this International Peace Conference and UNESCO headquarters. On behalf of the Buddhist Association of Canada, I would like to discuss Buddhist education and its role in promoting peace. In a world often marked by conflict and misunderstanding, the teachings of Buddhism offer profound insights for fostering harmony and spiritual well-being. From a global perspective, Buddhist education is recognized as a vital tool for social harmony. It emphasizes compassion, mindfulness, and the interconnection of all beings, principles that resonate deeply in our diverse communities today. In Canada, the Buddhist Association has made important steps to promote Buddhist education, collaborating with the Emmanuel College and Victoria University in the University of Toronto. This month, we have established the Wu Tai Shan Venerable Dai Professorship in Buddhist spiritual care. This represents Canada's first endowed professorship for this area, named after Wu Tai Shan Buddhist Garden in Canada, a 535 acres Buddhist garden that has recently opened to the public. This professorship addresses the spiritual needs of our evolving society and fills a critical gap in spiritual care education. Moreover, we're excited to announce the launch of the Buddhist College of Canada, featuring the compassionate Canopy Buddhist Studies program in partnership with the Emmanuel College and the University of Toronto. This program creates a unique platform for both monastic and laities to deepen their understanding of Buddhism. It has attracted highly educated professionals from all walks, eager to explore Buddhist doctrines and therapeutic practice to promote peace and well-being. This educational project offers significant advantages. They foster emotional resilience through doctrinal studies, mindfulness training, the therapeutic practices which are valued in Western society. They also promote sustainable living and social responsibility, encouraging individuals to contribute positively to their communities. In times of social division, these teachings can serve as a bridge toward understanding the unity. However, we must acknowledge that gaps still exist in the Buddhist education. There is a lack of complete resources and official programs that are tailored to Western way of thinking and lifestyles. Additionally, we need more methods that integrate Buddhist principles with modern science and mental well-being. This will allow us to address contemporary challenges in holistic manner. The promotion of the Buddhist spiritual care shows our commitment to inclusive care, practice, and spiritual education. Aligning with our association vision for the future development of Buddhism in Western communities. Our commitment to promoting peace extends beyond academic programs. We have built a strong relationship with the Canadian communities, offering educational programs for police forces, prisoners, and range of schools. Each year, we welcome thousands of students and officers sharing the principle of Buddhist culture and practice. Our approach includes activities such as meditation, children's classes, vegetarianism, and interfaith dialogue. These programs cultivate a deeper understanding of Buddhist teachings. They foster compassion and mindfulness in participants and bridging gap between diverse backgrounds. In conclusion, Buddhist education plays a vital role in promoting peace through both academic effort and community engagement. We'd like to thank UNESCO and WFP for providing this platform for discussion. May we work together in this essential journey toward peace and harmony in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Most Venerable Daiichi, for your kind speech. May I now invite Reverend Yoshiaki Shoji, Deputy Secretary General of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Chairperson of Standing Committee on Humanitarian Assistance of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, to kindly give his speech on stage.
Most venerable, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Yoshiaki Shoji. I'm Deputy Secretary General and Chairperson of Humanitarian Assistance in the WFB, the World Fellowship of Buddhists. I especially work for youth development and humanitarian assistance in the WFB. The WFB provides humanitarian assistance, especially for natural disaster by earthquakes, typhoons, and cyclones. This year, we supported the victim of the heavy rain damage in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Thailand, north of Thailand, and in the summer, and the earthquake in the Noto Peninsula in Japan. In the past, the WFP have also provided disaster relief victims of the major earthquakes, such as one in Sichuan, China, 2008, the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011, and the Nepal earthquake in 2015. I'm from Japan, and so I would like to talk a little about the Great East Japan earthquake. As you may know, the earthquake that occurred in the Pacific Ocean in Japan on March 11, 2011, caused a tsunami that became a major disaster with more than 20,000 casualties. 13 years have passed since the horrific earthquake. In the affected areas of the earthquake, which include my hometown, there have been new and young people coming in, and the vitality of community is gradually emerging in the affected areas. The WFP worked with a Christian organization to donate fishing nets and outboard motors for their fishing boats to young fishermen who settled in the affected areas. Since then, we have visited them regularly and continue to support them. Are any of you familiar with the fishermen's work? Their work is so tough. They leave the fishing port early in the morning, fish for a long time, then return to the port to sell the fish to the market. But that's not all. They have to remove ocean trash from the fishing nets that are hundreds of meters long, repair the tom nets, wrap them in blue sheets, tie them with rope, and load them onto the boat. One day, I went to see the fishermen's work with some local children. The fishermen were silently removing ocean trash trapped in fishing nets. There were many pieces of plastic bags and bottles tangled in the nets. One of the children who saw this said, "I never knew there was so much garbage in the nets. From now on, I will try not to buy unnecessary things. I will also careful how I throw away garbage." Another child said, "I want to keep this beautiful sea forever." According to the fishermen, fish that could only be caught far south can now be caught in the northern seas. The climate crisis has a major impact on our lives. It is the cause of disasters, economic disparities, and military conflicts. I believe there is a reason why the SDGs promoted by the United Nations emphasize environmental consideration. Now is a time for us to join hands and create a sustainable world. I believe that this is the only way to protect our planet, work toward peace, and realize our happy lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Yoshiaki Shoji, for your kind speech. May I now invite Dato Tan Jin Sun, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Penang Center from Malaysia.
Venerable Sirs, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, President of WFB, Kun Palop Patari, may I wish on behalf of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Penang Center, Malaysia, to congratulate this success of this conference in conjunction with His Majesty King Rama X's 6th cycle birthday, and for his guidance for us to do more for the peace of all nations. My topic, education, Buddhist education, its role in promoting peace. Education stands as a powerful tool for nourishing the new generation of leaders, thinkers, and compassionate citizens. I was very much impressed with yesterday's presentation by the young presenters, young and talented youth coming up here to give us a very good presentations on what is important, stressing on the Buddhist educations and knowledge to lead a successful life. I congratulate all of them. In a nation with multicultural and multi-religious characteristics like Malaysia, Buddhist education has become a means to instill values of compassion, tolerance, and non-violence in the young minds. Buddhist schools, monasteries, and institutions such as in the Buddhist colleges and also in universities like ours, the World Fellowship universities. And not only preserving the ancient teachings, but also promoting a culture of peace in this modern context. Now, Buddhist education in temples. Buddhist educations we started in temples, Sunday schools, play an important role to foster healthy activities among the youth and achieving peaceful interactions among them. I was involved with the Mahidama Buddhist Sunday School in Penang for most of my time, more than 10 years, and I have great experience over this. It is of great success if you can manage to get the young people to come to the school to learn Buddhism. At the heart of the Buddhist educations, the principle of metta, loving kindness, the fundamental teachings encourages empathy and compassion towards all living beings, regardless of race, religion, and nationality. In Malaysia, where diversity is a part of our daily life, Buddhist schools emphasize the importance of these values from a very early age. Children are taught to cultivate kindness, not only towards their peers, but also towards the environment and other living creatures. This moral foundation is crucial for creating social harmony by educating youth on the values of compassion. Buddhist institutions equip them with the emotional intelligence to navigate conflicts peacefully, both on a personal and societal value. Education promotes peace. Education teaches students among the various values of respect, empathy, cooperation, and moral human rights. It encourages critical thinking about violations, conflicts, and injustice, helping students to develop skills to encourage in non-violent problem solving. Training young people and community in conflict resolutions, mediations, and negotiations emphasize and equip them with the tools to manage dispute constructively. These programs teach us communication skill, active listening, and method of finding the win-win situations and prevent conflict from escalating into violence. Education promotes intercultural dialogue, fostering dialogues and understanding between different religions, communities, and religious communities can reduce tensions and promote mutual respect. Interfaith initiates allow people of different beliefs to cooperate on sharing goals like social justice and peace, helping to reduce religious-based conflicts. Encouraging interactions and understanding across the culture can reduce prejudice and cultural misunderstanding. Programs that promote multiculturalism and celebrate diversities help people to see beyond their differences, thus fostering peaceful coexistence. Now, the role of institutions like the World Buddhist Universities. The World Buddhist Universities, through having this headquarters in Thailand, has significantly influenced in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and other Southeast Asian countries. This institution aims to provide a global platform for the studies and the disseminations of Buddhist knowledge, with a focus on how these teachings can contribute to world peace. The World WBU cooperates with many other organizations, such as Master Chingang's Educational Center, with the various Buddhist educational centers in the world, advancing peaceful education. Through conferences and seminars and research, it fosters discussions on how Buddhist principles can address modern challenges such as climate change, poverty, and violence. This institution emphasizes on nonviolence and ethical leaderships and the interdependence of all the living beings, resonates deeply in the Malaysian context, where different culture and religion must find a way to live together. And it is important we call it peaceful way of living together. In Malaysia, I had the opportunity even to initiate the Malaysian Buddhist examinations, which was held annually with students, providing them with syllabus and texts, and for them to take part in these examinations. If they pass, we present them with a very elaborate certificate where they proudly exhibit even in their office. Students who participate in these type of programs are exposed to a curriculum of integrities, both traditional Buddhist teachings and modern subjects. This holistic approach encourages critical thinking, ethical decisions making, and the pursuit of peace in both personal and professional spheres. As these students go on to become community leaders, teachers, policy makers, they will carry with them the values of nonviolence, tolerance, and compassion, spreading a culture of peace and transcends national borders. I would like to take this opportunity to advocate the establishment of the Harmony Universities to spearhead Buddhist educations in promoting values of compassion, tolerance, mutual respect to coexist with others in our lives. Presently, the Chingangshan Monastery, situated in the Bintang Riau Island, provinces of the Indonesia, is where all the administrative functions of provisional municipal governments are fully carried out. So it is strategically positioned to carry out these tasks. We look forward to work closely with the World Buddhist Universities and all the Buddhist centers, such as I mentioned, the Chingang Education Centers, and all the centers, Buddhist centers all over the world, and which will help us to provide an ultimate aim of generating values of kindness, good deeds, and helping the various communities. Your Excellency, distinguished delegates and guests, let us join hands in realizing this reality, and all of us make us a nation of happiness, nation of peace for all of us. And this will help us to promote peace for all mankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato Tan Jin Sun, for your kind speech. May I now invite Reverend Sunmi Choi, representative of Most Venerable Josan Kim Ju-won, Prime Minister of Won Buddhism from Korea, to kindly give speech on the stage.
안녕하세요. Good afternoon. Most venerables, honored delegate, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Dhamma. I am one Buddhist nun, come from South Korea. I'm honored to be here with you and deliver a congratulatory message on behalf of the Most Venerable Jonsan, the Prime Dharma Master of Won Buddhism. As a member of WFB, in celebration of the 6th cycle birth of anniversary of His Majesty King Lama X of Thailand, I sincerely congratulate all those involved in the UNESCO conference held under the theme, the Royal Patron of all faith, continuing sustainable peace for society. I also express my gratitude to the Thai royal family, the permanent delegation of the Kingdom of the Thailand to UNESCO, and the dedicated effort of the WFB President Palop Tayari for leading this initiative toward world peace and the spiritual growth of humanity. Buddhism is the supreme path, with its truth and teachings being vast. Many masters with great birth have taken these as a foundation, forming various schools and sects, and opening the gate to spread the teachings to many people. Similarly, all religions of the world share a fundamental principles, but have long established different systems and practice, which can lead to occasional misunderstandings among sects. Despite this, since its establishment, the World Fellowship of Buddhists has successfully brought together the diverse traditions and teachings of Buddhism worldwide through cross-cultural dialogue and unification movement. As a result, based on the spirit of the WFB, world peace and welfare are being realized across the globe. Moreover, efforts to restore the damaged ecological environment ensure the dignity of human life and solve problems, the world problems, through the Dhamma are progressing beautifully. This represents a noble spiritual asset of humanity. As such, I deeply appreciate the sincere leadership of the WFB. The founding master of Won Buddhism, Sotaesan, stated, "Buddhism will become the world major religion." This implies that those who practice the truth or Dhamma will lead humanity toward spiritual civilization, offering healing alternatives and hope to those facing significant challenges, such as war, disease, famine, violence, and environmental crisis. To discover these healing alternatives and hope, the world needs new imagination and vision, and above all, your prayers. I pray for all of you who are responding to issues of our times. I hope and pray that this International Peace Conference will become a stepping stone toward creating a harmonious community for humankind, and that the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha will always be with you. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Reverend Sumni Choi, for your kind speech. May I now invite Mr. Jagath Sumatipala, Vice President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, Director of Naganada International Institute for Buddhist Studies, Sri Lanka, to kindly give his speech on the stage.
Venerables, His Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and distinguished guests. It's an honor to speak before you today on the topic of peace through cultural diversity and Buddhist inclusivity, a subject of great relevance, especially for us in Sri Lanka, a country rich in history and cultural heritage. Sri Lanka is a home for many ethnicities, religions, and traditions. Over more than 2,500 years, Buddhism has been the cornerstone of our culture, shaping our values and social structures. It's not only a spiritual guide, but also an ethical and moral foundation that has allowed Sri Lanka to navigate the complexities of multiculturalism. The teachings of Buddhism on peace, harmony, and loving kindness have long fostered cultural tolerance and coexistence even during times of external invasions. Buddhism does not view diversity as a challenge, but as an opportunity for enrichment. It teaches us empathy, compassion, and understanding. Central to the Buddha's teaching is metta, loving kindness, and mudita, compassion, which encourage respect for all beings regardless of their backgrounds. These values have guided Sri Lanka in its centuries of cultural interactions. One compelling example of inclusivity can be seen in our ancient Buddhist temples, where Hindu shrines are often found alongside Buddha statues. The Temple of the Sacred Truth Relics in Kandy, Sri Lanka's most sacred Buddhist site, houses 4 Hindu shrines within its premises. This harmonious coexistence has been a hallmark of the island's history. In the ancient city of Polonnaruwa, during South Indian invasion, Hindu shrines were built. Remarkably, Sinhalese monarchs preserved these shrines, reflecting the mutual respect embedded in Buddhism. Similarly, the removal of the bull from moonstone carvings during the Polonnaruwa period as a mark of respect for Hindu beliefs highlights how Buddhism has acted as a bridge between cultures, ensuring peaceful coexistence. It's also worth noting that the predominantly Buddhist countries, believers of all religions can safely coexist. For instance, Thailand and Bhutan, both Buddhist majority nations, have long upheld peaceful cohabitation between diverse religious communities, offering valuable lessons in inclusivity and harmony. Sri Lanka, until the 20th century, had never experienced internal religious or ethnic conflicts. The rise of ethnic strife in recent times, often politically driven, does not reflect the values of the broader population. To date, the majority of Buddhists live harmoniously with Hindus, Muslims, and Christians. Religious sites belonging to minorities remain respected, and any conflicts are largely the result of political provocations. Sri Lanka's ability to maintain peace through cultural diversity is rooted in Buddhist principles of tolerance and inclusivity. Despite divisive political forces attempting to flame tensions, it's crucial that both the government and civil society uphold compassion and mutual respect. By fostering cultural understanding and promoting Buddhist teachings, Sri Lanka can serve as a model of peaceful coexistence in a multicultural world. As we move forward, we must actively promote these values, ensuring that Buddhism continues to be a bridge connecting our diverse communities. It's not enough to coexist passively. We must strive to build deeper connections, learn from one another, and grow together. In conclusion, peace through cultural diversity and Buddhist inclusivity is not just an aspiration. It's a lived reality in Sri Lanka's history. The values of tolerance, compassion, and respect that Buddhism has instilled in our society are essential not only for maintaining peace, but also contributing to global harmony. Let us continue to embrace diversity and inclusivity as pillar of peace, ensuring that Sri Lanka remains a beacon of unity for future generations. With the blessings of the Triple Gems, may all continue to be live in harmony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jaga Sumathipala, for your kind speech. May I now invite Dr. Monshu Koshin Otani, Chairperson of the Standing Committee for Socio-Economic Development of the World Fellowship of Buddhists from India, to kindly give his speech on the stage.
पूज्य भिक्षु संघ, देवियों और सज्जनों, मुझे आप सभी के बीच आकर बहुत ही अच्छा महसूस हो रहा है। विश्व शांति के लिए हो रहे इस 2 दिवसीय सम्मेलन के सफल आयोजन के लिए मैं WFB को मुबारकबाद देता हूं और अपनी बात रखता हूं। भारत से तथागत बुद्ध के द्वारा दिए गए करुणा, मैत्री, भाईचारा, शांति के उपदेशों को समय समय पर राजकीय संरक्षण प्राप्त होता रहा है। सम्राट अशोक के द्वारा बौद्ध धर्म के प्रचार प्रसार में बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है। वर्तमान में भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के द्वारा बौद्ध धर्म का प्रचार प्रसार किया जा रहा है। हाल ही में भारत सरकार के द्वारा बौद्ध धर्म की भाषा पाली को क्लासिकल भाषा का दर्जा दिया गया है। मैं इस मंच से भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री मोदी जी को साधुवाद देता हूँ। विश्व शांति स्थापना करने के लिए हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी बहुत प्रयास कर रहे हैं, इसके लिए उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अंत में मैं अपनी बात को यहीं समाप्त करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Dr. Monshu Koshi Otani, for your speech. May I now invite Mrs. Subrani Khamyuang, Deputy Permanent Delegate of Thailand to UNESCO, to kindly give us a closing address on the stage.
Most venerable, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we reach to the conclusion of this significant international peace conference, it is my great honor to give the closing remarks on the permanent delegation of Thailand to UNESCO. Over the past 2 days, we have engaged in meaningful discussion, shared diverse perspective, and deepen our collective commitment to this conference themes, building a sustainable society of peace through education, the royal patron of all faith. Education is a cornerstone of a peaceful society. It equips individuals with the tools to resolve conflicts, embrace diversity, and understand how the world is interconnected. One of the most urgent global challenges is to build a sustainable society of peace, and education stands at the core of this mission, as emphasized by SDG 4.7. This goal calls on us to ensure that by 2030, all learners gain the knowledge of skills necessary to advance sustainable development. Central to this vision is a fostering of a culture of peace, respect for human rights, gender equality, and global citizenship. This conference has demonstrated the power of education and interfaith dialogue and nurturing sustainable peace. His Majesty the King of Thailand has highlighted the value of education, not only a tool for academic success, but as a means to instill moral integrity, civil responsibility, and environmental awareness. His vision for education extends beyond the classroom, emphasizing the holistic development individuals who can drive sustainable economic growth, protect the natural environment, and promote social harmony. His Majesty's unwavering dedication to fostering mutual understanding and respect other faiths has been an inspiration to us all, reminding us that peace is not merely a goal, but a shared responsibility, one that demands ongoing effort across all sectors of society. I would like to express our profound gratitude to all the speakers and the panelists whose insights have illuminated the essential role of religious education in building peaceful, sustainable societies. Their contributions have deepened our understanding of how sacred values, moral education, and intercultural dialogue serve as instruments of unity, especially as we face complex global challenges. Special thanks also go to the youth representatives, whose passion and vision for a sustainable and peaceful future renew our hope that the next generation will carry forward the legacy of peace. We are deeply appreciative of Mr. Pallop Thayari, the President of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, and his team, for their invaluable collaboration. Their support has been instrumental in making this conference a resounding success. Thank you once again for your participation, dedication, and commitment. May all return to our community, inspired to work together for a more peaceful and sustainable world. Safe travels, and may peace be with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Suprani Khamyuang, for your kind closing address. Next, may I invite Mr. Montian Tananat, Secretary General of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, to kindly deliver his closing address on the stage, please.
Most venerable, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As we approach the conclusions of this remarkable international peace conference, it's my great honor to deliver the closing address on behalf of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, the Association of Master Shin Kong Friends at UNESCO, and the executive of the WFB office at UNESCO. Over the past 2 days, we have gathered here united in our commitment to the theme of continuing sustainable society of peace, the royal patron of all faiths, reflecting our achievement and invaluable contributions that have made this event a resounding success. First and foremost, I extend my deepest gratitude to His Serene Highness Somdet Phat Mahathirajaan, the Supreme Advisors of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, and all high-ranking monks from various countries, including Thailand, Asia, Europe, USA, Canada, and Australia. Their profound presence, praying, chanting, and blessings for His Majesty the King, มหาวชิราลงกรณ์พระวชิรเกล้าเจ้าอยู่หัว or King Rama X have greatly enriched the spiritual essence of this conference. His Majesty's wisdom and unwavering dedication to the well-being of people, along with his compassion towards faith, serve as guiding lights for us all. A special acknowledgement goes to the loyal Thai embassies and the permanent delegations of the Kingdom of Thailand to UNESCO. Their generous support and cooperation has made this significant event possible, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to peace and diplomacy. We are deeply grateful for the continuous support from the Department of the Religious Affairs of Thailand. Their efforts are indispensable. My sincere appreciation extends to Ms. Audrey Azoulay, the Director General of UNESCO, for her ongoing efforts to promote cultural diversity, peace, and education, which align perfectly with the missions of this conference. We are proud to partner with an organization that upholds such vital global values. On behalf of the WFB, I also wish to express heartfelt thanks to the co-organizer, the World Fellowship of Buddhist Youth, and the World Buddhist University, as well as regional centers and associate organizations of the WFB. Your collaborative efforts have been crucial to the success of this conference. Special thanks go to our esteemed guest speaker, Most Venerable พระพรหมสักยะวงศ์วิสุทธิ์ Senior Advisors of the WFB and the Advisor of the World Buddhist University, and Professor Visha Mahakun, Advisors to the WFB, for their insightful wisdom that illuminates the roles of Buddhism in fostering happiness and peace. I would like to express our heartfelt appreciations to the contributions of our Vice Presidents, Executive Council members, and advisors of the WFB who travel from around the world. Your presence and participations and contributions during these discussions have transformed this gathering into a truly global exchange of ideas. I also acknowledge the invaluable insights of our panelists, whose expertise in interfaith and intercultural dialogues has emphasized the importance of unities amidst diversities. You have shown us how we can draw strength from our differences to foster collaborations and understanding. A special thanks must go to the youth representative, who spoke passionately about their visions of peace. Your voice inspires hopes, and your leadership is essential for building a future where peace is sustainable. You remind us that nurturing the next generations of compassionate, mindful, and active citizen is crucial. Lastly, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to Peace and Harmony Development Associations of Master Shin Kong Friends at UNESCO, led by Mr. Bill Chen, Mr. Fan Cheng, and his team, as well as everyone who worked behind the scene. The organizers, volunteers, technical team of UNESCO, and all involved. Without your tireless effort, we would not have been able to gather here in unity and peace. Most importantly, I wish to thank all participants, whether attending in person or virtually from across the world. Your presence, engagement, and shared commitment to the principle of peace have made this conference a success. The diverse perspectives and experiences you brought to our discussions have enriched our collective understanding and deepened our resolve to work together for peace. As we conclude this conference, let us carry us with us the wisdom shared and the connection made over these past few days. The work we have done here is just the beginning. The true challenge lies in bringing the principle we have discussed into the world, fostering peace, understanding, and compassion in our daily life and communities. In closing, let us reaffirm our commitment to the shared visions of the continuing the legacies of His Majesty King Rama X, the royal patron of all faiths, in creating a sustainable society of peace. May the teaching of Buddhism, along with the cooperation to all faiths, guide us as we move forward. May I take these opportunities to declare the closings of the International Peace Conference 2024 to commemorate His Majesty the King Rama X's 6th cycle birth anniversary. Thank you very much, and may peace be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Monty and Tananat, for your kind closing remarks. We have now completed all of the agenda for this conference, achieving the intended objectives.
Now we have reached the end of the conference, and we do apologize for anything we have missed and any inconvenience occurred during these past 2 days. We wish you all a safe travel back home, and we look forward to future gatherings. Thank you, and good evening. Okay. We would like to invite distinguished guests for a group photo one more time. Thank you.
Love's the root of life, love's the core of wisdom. Life without love is a life forever falling in the endless night, drifting in a sea of pain. A love for the dawn that leads to one sunny spring. God is virtuous and kind, God is almighty, and you teach us true meaning of love. Being selfless, we offer to help all beings. You give us wisdom, and I am forever grateful. With sacred virtue, purity, God loves all beings. You teach us ethics. With fraternity, compassion, God loves all beings. You teach us morals. With sincerity, loyalty, God loves all beings. You teach us causality. With the teachings of sages, God loves all beings. Like shape of salvation, free us from darkness. Love's the root of life, love's the core of wisdom. Life without love is a life forever falling in the endless night, drifting in a sea of pain. I love what the dawn that leads to one sunny spring. God is virtuous and kind, God is almighty, and you teach us true meaning of love. Being selfless, we offer to help all beings. You give us wisdom, and I am forever grateful. With sacred virtue, purity, God loves all beings. You teach us